Hey everyone, welcome back. Look who's with me. It's Jedi Mike. I don't know if you guys know who this is, but you should at Jedi Mike 7. Also, my nephew Mikey is joining us here at the Penguin Podcast for episode 5, The Penguin Homecoming. We are going to discuss some DC news first, but we will be just recapping Homecoming in a little bit. Mike, I'm sorry, I'm calling you Mikey like you're like my
It's
baby
okay.
boy.
It's
How
okay.
are you doing? How's life been?
I'm doing good. No, thank you for the birthday wishes and stuff. Appreciate it. Thank you. But
Of
yeah,
course,
no,
as
it's
you're
been
most
it's been
welcome.
good. Been a good week.
Nice. How was your birthday? Did you do anything fun?
I went to the Korean or Japanese barbecue restaurant and
Ooh, nice.
got some nice wagyu and stuff and everything. And yeah, that was really it. Just I call today's my day off, so I just call it for the
Oh,
weekend.
nice.
So yeah,
That explains
perfect
it.
timing.
Oh, nice. Birthday recording. Yay, happy birthday,
Yes.
Mike. Well, we might be joined by Andy later. I don't know what he's doing, but we are going to go through and run through some DC news. Just a reminder to our listeners that we do cuss on this podcast. We're past the CW point. We don't censor ourselves anymore. We are adults now. We have grown up. So just some DC Studios news. They're at New York Comic Con literally right now doing, I think they're covering Penguin, Creature Commando, a lot of the comic book stuff. Do you know anyone? I think Jonathan's at Comic Con now, right? Isn't he at New York Comic Con?
Yeah, Jonathan's there, but also Busy's there as
Oh,
well.
fun. That's so fun. Okay. Yeah. Wasn't really interested. I'm never interested in going to New York Comic Con. It's not my favorite city
Yeah,
to
it's
go.
always like, like I had like 5 messages to people like, "You going to New York Comic?" I'm like, "No, it's my," and it's
I know.
like, yeah. So
Not my thing. Yeah.
yeah.
So we're waiting on any news that comes out of there. I haven't seen anything so far. The Penguin panel was yesterday, but I haven't seen anything. The New York Comic Con is not like the biggest hub of like breaking news. So, but Creature Commandos is coming December 5th, I think.
December,
And
yes.
yeah, and then we also got some Crypto the Super Dog is confirmed for Superman. Yay! Woo! We love Crypto. Hopefully, we'll see other super animals like Streaky the Super Cat and things of that nature. Are you excited about Superman? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I am. When I saw the picture, of course, I would suspect just knowing James Gunn to do crypto. That's not far from him. Now I
Hmm.
understand like people were even going back in the comments talking about the breed of the dog and
Oh my God.
stuff, and it's like compared to also the crypto from Titans. It's like yeah, it's.
Mm,
But I mean, which that yeah, I understand that, but I think for what the reasoning, what he said in that post and stuff, just to have that just tells me at least he's just laying the groundwork just for a expansive, dying to some parts of the DC universe that may see campy on paper, but actually will
hmm
be something like actually a wholesome moment on screen. So and recreating
hmm
them on the moon and like
Yeah.
that, like that's yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not nitpicking on that, so I'm happy about that. But
Yeah. I think it's silly to nitpick on the dog part. I think it's sweet because, like, the whole point of Superman having a dog is to point out that he's like one of us. He's a dog parent. I think it's cute. So I'm excited. I think James Gunn is. I think he gets Superman and like the whole super universe in a way that previous people haven't gotten. So I'm excited in my opinion, I'm excited to see what he does with it. But in some comic book news, if you guys read, Steve Trevor's dead. Steve Trevor has been murdered, and Wonder Woman is a mom. She created her daughter out of clay and
man,
her hair and Steven's hair. It's huge. I don't know how DC didn't talk about it. This didn't leak. It just was like, boom, here it is. Steve Trevor's dead. The whole issue is Wonder Woman 14, I think, after Absolute Power, written by Tom King, art by Daniel Samperi. Uh, Steve Trevor's dead. He's done. And they have a child that he'll likely never meet. Who knows? But this whole run has basically been leading up to this point of like whatever. It's not my favorite run, but there it is. Steve Trevor is dead, folks, in the comic book. Spoiler alert. This is the same writer that also killed Alfred Pennyworth. Take that for what you like. Alfred's also dead in the comics. So yeah, if we have any other news that I missed, let me know. Let us know in the comments or tweet at us, whatever. So about to hit up our recap of episode 5 of The Penguin. How are you liking the season so far?
it's a fucking masterpiece. Like
Hmm.
it's without question, without hyperbole. It's a masterpiece, and I think this goes to what comic book genre should be and how it can evolve into a point where it's not only just being based on relying on the main title character to have a story. Like one or two episodes in, I'm not even worrying about like or focusing on wait, oh yeah, Batman's in the city. Where is he? What's Alfred doing? What do I it's like I don't care. I'll see that in the Batman 2. And while you're still giving me a wonderful story expanding this city and with these characters that are based in the comics as well, even pulling small characters that from last week's episode that we had no clue about Magpie.
Mhm. Mhm.
I was like, wait, out of all the people you brought, it's like Magpie. That's like, that's where it tells me your mindset of like, hey, yeah, you're letting Easter eggs there, but we're just focusing on just telling these characters and letting it stay on its own. And this goes to what people are talking about fatigue. He's like, no, if the fatigue is inevitable when creativity is limited, and with
Mm.
creativity, it's all going all over the place in terms of how they can take these characters and evolve them into very complex and multidimensional. Even like just we're talking about last where we come off with Sophia. Like you want to talk about how you write female characters in a way where you have huge respect for them, and yet we don't have to sexualize these characters. We don't have to put them in situation being damsel in distress and or give them all the power in the known universe to make them interesting. No, she just have great writing behind her, and also wonderful performance from the actress as well. So, but where we are with this episode, yeah, it's game time. It's the seeds are being planted. Family factions are now being evolved into new
Mhm.
stuff. So yeah, I am all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's nice to see DC have this win because it's been a rough couple weeks for DC. I think it's
Yes,
fun to see, different rogues in the Batman rogues having like their moment and one flopping so dramatically and the other having like being called the best show on television. I've seen so many people call this like the best show on television right now, and I can't disagree with them. I feel the same way about the show that felt about Shogun. Like the strong female writing, and it doesn't feel like strong female character trademark.
exactly.
It feels like they're real people. I think I called it last episode that Chintani episode 4 was the best episode of the season, and I have seen 7 episodes so far, and I still stand by that. We'll see how the finale goes, but I think that episode 4 was masterfully done, and it's really I like their focus and the brilliant writing on actual comic book characters and giving them more highlights. And that was a different backstory for Sophia that was in the comics. I think they did it really well. So I'm so impressed with the show. And this episode was just yet another just another good episode. And it also showed the depravity. And this is the first time I was like, Oz might be a little evil with what he did with the Maronis.
Right. Yeah, that was just sinister. Like you got, I mean, they already like
Right.
you could have just let them be, and they were probably got through the crossfire. Like, no, 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 let them burn. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that was wild, and I have to commend the writing and because Oz, we've been kind of rooting for him, like, sort of as an underdog or something, but we forget that he's actually not he's a bad like, these are bad people. These are technically all of these people are bad people. So, it's just, like it's interesting to see, like, I was just, like, in shock by that point. So, yeah, let's just dive in through the episode. What did you think of this episode overall?
yeah, now that the cat's out of the bag, with knowing about Penguin betrayal to Sophia, and now that Sophia is laying the groundwork after what she did last episode, I think the really my most like aside from that scene is her actually bringing the crime bosses together, or at least just setting aside, hey, I'm now owning the Falcone family business, but now we're not calling ourselves the Falcones anymore. And I think that
Mhm.
was I think it was a very powerful scene to a point for her characters. Like I am taking ownership. I'm not even going to continue this legacy. He doesn't deserve his last name to be mentioned ever again. That's
Mhm.
power. Is where
Mhm.
you only live as long as the last person that remembers you. Like
Yes.
that.
Mhm.
So for have that, and then she's still like establishing a new identity, which I don't know if the last name is from the comics. To my
Mhm.
so I okay, so I just think the fact that when she got to that point, I thought was very iconic just for her to come to her own, but also uh her interaction with the Maronis as well. Like, listen, like we've been played by the same guy. Hey, let's actually get our resources together and stop with the BS and let's and kill this dude. While
Mhm.
at the same time, Oz is back up against the corner because of everything going on. Like, he's playing both sides, but now all of them, it's like the domino pieces are falling effect. So it's like the strings that he's been pulling are now being cut. And now he has no,
Mhm.
resources to dive into and everything. So, and you see him fluster. And then with
Yeah.
that, with being fluster also lead to consequences like your product being destroyed, or a good portion of it. So, and that's
Mhm.
just an example just of business too as well. Like, we see that with the Sopranos as well, how things come up and everything, and like drug trades and stuff like that. So I think that, yeah, this was good, just term how the everybody's on have their back up against the corner, but yet the tensions now turn up about 10 notches and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this was it's very intense episode where things moved very quickly. Nothing was I don't think there was a single boring moment in this episode, and that speaks to, again, the writing and the acting, the pacing of the show. Gigante is actually in the comics, Sophia's married name, so it's an interesting flip, in this reality, in like this reality, that's her mother's maiden name. And I think it's a powerful moment to see Sophia take that charge, and some really intense imageries. Like, I think there was a couple of stuff, like especially I want to talk about Johnny Beatty, because we're gonna have to talk about Johnny Beatty. Sophia saved Johnny Beatty in the last episode because she had a point to make in this episode. I was wondering why she did that, and we see in this episode she he talks. She literally was like, "Why? Why didn't anyone? What was going on with my mother? Why wasn't anyone sticking up for my mother?" And he's like, she did. It was just a very interesting conversation. That conversation, the 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 Gigante debut, her shooting him in the head, his men grabbing the bloodstained money, all of that was so insane. Like, the visuals were so insane. Talk to me about Johnny Beatty. What are your thoughts on all that?
See, I think it was also an example because I mean, one thing was like that last episode should not be treated lightly. Like, definitely that was a huge Emmy, consideration, like from start to finish. But it showed also us in positions, and where people, even if our own immediate family, might lie to us, and we're asking them, and some of us don't have the opportunity to ask them, like, why, like, why did you do this? Why did you lie, or like, or why did you stand up for me, and blah blah. I mean, and she got the answer that she wanted, but as now I was like, when she was done with them, she was done with them, because I also like, hey, you, my mind spared you, but like, no, like, I still need to get information from you. This is like, it reminded me from like from at the end of Avatar Last Airbender, where Zuko goes to prison, talks to his father, saying like, hey, what happened to my mother, and after the whole conflict's been resolved, like, no, we ain't done yet, and but I just think that was an example just of getting the answers again that she really needed, because no one was telling her the truth. And I
Mhm,
feel like he was the closest person to that point, that left alive, obviously, to be like, hey, all right, now, but I got leverage on you still, but I'm not like, we're not buddy buddy with, like, still tell me, what happened to my mother, and why did you guys not stick up for her and everything, or still up
mhm.
against my father, XYZ. And I just thought that was a good scene, just at least she got that sense of closure before she transitioned to the full content, persona. So I think that scene's exemplified for me closure for her for that part.
Yeah. I think that was interesting. I agree with you. I think, like, her you could see her the changes physically too, like the haircut, the eyeliner gets deeper, the outfit, she's showing off her scars. She used to, in the first couple episodes, yeah, she would cover herself up. She would have, like, a handkerchief or, like, a turtleneck or something. Now she's, like, displaying them because she used to be ashamed of her scars. Now she's like, "No, this is me. This is who I am. This is who my dad kind of forced me into, but I'm embracing it now." And I think that's a really good visual way to, like, showcase, like, just in case you don't get what's going on in here, you can see it going on out here. So that's really I think that's a smart way to do that. Um, but, like, outside of the Sophia and the Falcone family situation, Oz is dealing with the aftermath of kind of like the Maroney stealing his product, outing him to Sophia. He needs to now. I think he sent someone to kill Sal. That didn't work. he said, "Oh my god, the I will never get over the scene where he tries to where they were gonna trade the mushrooms for Taj." Which I wanna say shout out to. I've said this before. Me and Andy have talked about this, but shout out to this show for making the Maronis a mostly brown Middle Eastern family, which is really cool to see. Just like not just a full because the Maronis and the Falcones and the comics are both Italian American families. So it's cool to see just like a little bit of that diversity in the in Gotham. You know, just it's a really cool show to see how just an array of colors. But Oz in that moment sets the Maroni like I cannot get over that. Like seeing like the actress who plays Nadia is so good, and like seeing her face when she smells her smell. Oh my god, I will never get over that. Let's talk about how brutal Oz is, and a reminder like he's the Penguin has sometimes been made a little bit of a joke in some certain medias, but like this is a reminder that he's actually a criminal mastermind, crime lord, killer dude. So let's yeah, talk to me about your reaction to that.
Like this is why, like, because right now as a Marvel and DC fan, we have two shows going on right now that are centering on villains or
Yeah.
characters, right? And it's a very unique position that we're in, but we've seen a transition of media where how you go from making a show about a villain is not by just sympathizing for them, but understanding the cruelty of their nature, but what leads them to it. Sometimes they're just, oh,
Mm,
no, you poked the bear, now I'm retaliating. In some instances they are psychotic and sinister, or maybe just have childhood trauma. Who doesn't, right? But I think with the Maronis is like it's the exact same thing why he killed Sophia's brother. It's exactly the same thing. Like, y'all see me as just the driver, and see me as just that's the pawn that you keep calling me Penguin. I don't like that name, which I think eventually at the end of the show we got to own it. Which but that point is like you're seeing this evolution of his character still being sinister and not still being like the nice guy or, oh, sad penguin, whatever. Like, no, he is evil. And it's like, because only a person with that type of mentality is like, yeah, I lied to Sophia and I'm gonna get you guys back and stuff. And then to have not only make it work, I could have just killed your son before I dropped him off, whatever. I could just drop off his body, but no, I want to make you watch. I want to make you burn. I want to make you suffer. Why? As you're holding your son, right? Only to give the news to your father, um, on the phone. And just like, that's like, again, how sinister can you be with that? But then after the death of Sophia's brother, he comes to realization like, oh shit, you know, now I gotta do this. And then when he set him on fire, what happened? Oh, a fire extinguisher, sprinklers and stuff go on and damage the product. And now he's complaining about the situation that he made. So it's like, yeah, he ain't, he isn't tactical. Is like he's reckless, and being
yeah.
reckless is like you have consequences of that. And he realizing that. So yeah, I thought that was the most human like reaction that could have happened with not only like you setting someone on fire, but then not knowing like, oh wait, what did I just do? While our product is still here, So yeah.
Yes, that's such a good point. I think that's one of the reasons why people are relating to this character, this version of him, because the like him getting mad about pickles in the earlier episode, him getting flustered about stuff, him like it's real, all real emotions. And someone who is richer than you, seen as more handsome than you, has all the benefits, privileges, and all that like in life is like calling you pathetic and making fun of your dream and you don't have the best grip on your emotions, like that's people do react in violence. I think Oz is like I like Joker or Arthur Fleck or whatever in the first movie. I think people relate to some things about these characters, and which is some it can be a little bit unsettling and dangerous because like these are not good. Like we said, these are not good people. But they are. I do think that there is a sense of relatability that I didn't expect, and I love that about this version. But yeah, he didn't expect the consequences of sprinklers going off, so most of the mushrooms were ruined, and he now has to figure out what to do with those. But now he has not just he realizes that Sal wasn't murdered, so now he's got Sal on his ass, Sophia on his ass, and this is where he's kind of scrambling. And I think that where Vic comes in is interesting. He's, taking the I love Vic. Vic's one of my favorite characters. Him taking charge of his mom and like being there for her and taking her to Crown Point. There's this little story that we're building towards, like this little arc that Vic has been going on, his journey of who he is and who Gotham is turning him into. He decided not to leave with his girl a couple episodes ago, which led to him saving, which is good for Oz because he saved Oz's life. Um, but then he keeps running into remnants of his past. Like he sees that white dude, that guy, I can't remember his name, that like he had issues with in the earlier episode. So that's like a foreshadowing up, obviously. But I think that like I enjoy Vic's story. I'm curious as to where it's going to go. How are you thinking? What do you think about Vic's whole story and overall?
Yeah, I think again he's as the I think the third episode focused more on him of not
Hmm.
understanding his origin, but just in terms of motivation of not to leave and just come back. He does want to have a sense of grabbing power. And to the point where he has been like the little man, even his own family, just like we deserve more than this. But there's nothing sinister about that until like obviously when he put in these situations where it says life or death situations, like cutting off the Sophia's brother's like finger, and then driving the car and the body there. Like he did that, he did
Hmm.
that. So and so I think is that he has a more of a inner darkness about him. But I feel like he's building up to unleash out. But at the same time, like when seeing of saving Penguin's mother, I think again it's just an opportunity. Feel like he has somewhat of a connection from his family of just knowing like, hey, I'll just be a good person, in the city because we are, they have never, at least Penguin, I guess people are oblivious to the small man in Gotham after the whole incident with the Riddler and everything. So I think for him is the fact of the now and even to bring him in the home and to see and reminisce about their childhood, and it's like, oh, it's almost like my childhood.
Hmm.
It's just like again, you're understanding like what Oz has evolved to, and seeing now Vic in his early stage, you don't know what he's going to become. I know there's spoilers or not spoilers or rumors about speculation about who he could be, like actual character, which I don't know. Like they have to do something traumatic to get to that point if he's gonna be some type of Batman villain. I don't know, but obviously that'd be very interesting to see if he actually turns into somebody that we all know. So it's like with the same name, not Cold though. I won't say not Mr. Freeze, but
Oh boy.
yeah, no way. No way. No way. Um, but yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Yeah, people were speculating that her therapist was Jonathan Crane. And I was like, I
Eh,
don't know.
no.
I don't think that.
Yeah, no,
I
you
don't think
that's a
so.
stretch. Yes. No.
But yeah, it was all because he's a therapist. Like, ooh, fear. But anyway, yeah, I think that the bond between Oz and Vic gets stronger, especially when they realize that they're from the same place. I think it's kind of sweet in its own odd way, because technically this relationship started with Oz holding Vic hostage, basically. But at least he's getting paid. But yeah, so we get Oz's worst nightmare possible. Sophia and Sal link up. They're going to take his ass out, and that he's really afraid of that because I think that's terrifying because both of them have very big reasons to hate Oz. He killed both of their family members, which is crazy. um, so there was something he said that I thought was interesting. This is a point I had made to Andy in an earlier episode that the Maronis and the Falcones have different core values, and Sal actually says that here. Um, or I think it was yeah, she said that her dad said he was too sentimental, and Sal responds that the Falcones eat their own. And I think that's interesting because it's true. You can see that from the beginning. Like Carmel Falcone will literally betray anyone, even his own daughter, to protect his own interests. But the Maronis aren't like that. They move like a unit. They move like a family. Sal trusts his wife to with his everything, with his life, with his decision making. And Carmine was the opposite. Like he murdered his well, yeah, he murdered his wife. Sorry, I was like, did I spoil this? We already went through that. Yeah, he murdered
Oh yeah, we
his
already went
wife.
through. Yeah.
I was like, wait, did I spoil that? No, he murdered his wife. I was like, yeah, so it's like complete opposite. These are two completely opposite, like um patriarchs, and I think that was it's interesting to see them kind of talk about that, commiserate that, because I think that's the most interesting thing about the two families in this show, because I don't think there's that much of a difference in the comics between them. They're just crime families that are always warring for power, and I think it's smart to like that Lauren LaFranc did like set them up as more of like there's more of a moral and ethical difference between them versus just wanting territory. You know what I mean? So that is. I don't know if you had any thoughts about Sophia and Sal linking up.
No, I think it was expected. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that, but also showing just how smart she is. Listen, she was supposed to run the family business. So it's like for her to make that rational decision of doing that, like, no, we're not. Yeah, I know we've been enemies and stuff. Like we're being played here. So like you just
Hmm.
lost your, just lost your wife and your son. And I mean, my family, they died ambiguously. I don't know how, but but now I'm here. So I'm the last one standing. So yeah, so I think it was just most logical response to do. I actually met Clancy at San Diego. I took a picture with him though, but I was like, it was a dream come true. This dude is a
Yeah.
DC legend. Okay, like
Mhm. Mhm. He's been in a lot of DC shows. He was in The Flash as, General Eiling, and
yes,
then he was in something else, wasn't he?
he was. Well, he voiced Lex Luthor, Justice League. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, and
He is a
Garage.
legend.
Yeah, he
Oh,
voiced
yes,
Garage too.
right!
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude's a legend. Yeah, he's a villain, and he just
yeah,
that's what he does. I love it.
yeah.
So before we wrap this episode, Oz takes Vic. He finds this, like, token coin, and he goes down to the Gotham trolley, so he takes him down there, which is a little bit reminiscent to me of Danny DeVito's, like, Penguin, how he was in the subway. I was like, "Oh,
Right.
that's so cool!" So, like, I that just, like, it's just more excitement. Like, there's just so many clever ways that they're incorporating comic book stuff into this. And the one big way I noticed was on the trolley. You see Vic getting on a trolley line 58, and that is actually the first ever appearance of Penguin in any Batman comic. Is Detective Comics number 58. So I love that so much. God, I'm such a nerd. I'm obsessed. I love this show. I love how they don't shy away from, like, I know people were like dunking on Matt Reeves or like his comments on Clayface and how like he's like more rooted in the gritty, but I love the way they're leaning into the way they add it into the show and lean into it. So there is comic book aspects of it, but it's not like we're not gonna get Joel like Schumacher or Tim Burton style. Like that's not what this universe is for. But I think they're doing a really great job of incorporating the campy comic book elements in a way that still feels like this show could win an Emmy. You know what I mean? I think it's still prestige, but it still has like those moments where I'm like, he's in it. Of course, Penguin goes down into the subways. Of course, like that's so fun. I think that's great. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that and your last thoughts on the episode overall?
Yeah, going down and trolley and everything, I thought that was like I was still trying to remind myself like, okay, well, they already had the iceberg lounge, but like what is his new base of operation if so, like going into the Batman? I'm thinking that to be the underground world of it all, I think also goes into the Danny DeVito part of a penguin and in the sewers and stuff like that. But the point where I think in terms of what they're laying the groundwork for in terms of I'm saying just the tone of this, because obviously we see the references and everything, is that it's just the balance of understanding our foundation, but also understanding that we just can't rely on just IP from the comics and stuff and say, oh yeah, therefore it must be good. No, no, no. How you execute it, how you able to evolve that into the world and creating this world that's realistic into a point where this could happen. Yet if someone is drawn to that point, they could become, Batman in terms of that version of Robert Pattinson, because even in the film, like there wasn't really no like out of this world, like, okay, could that really happen? Yeah, a massive flood like that, if someone was, that could happen, you know.
Mhm.
It's just so if someone had those enough resources, they could. And for Penguin to have that in terms of this episode, I think is whatever they do in terms of finale of how we're going to see him transition into the Batman. That's where I'm more excited for. In just terms like, okay, like how you gonna tie into the big, picture. I don't know. But at this point right now, it's like I'll take any little aspect and detail you put. So putting the 58 on there, I was like, I'm like, yeah, that's for us.
Mhm.
Magpie. Yes, go ahead. Keep
Mhm.
sprinkling that stuff there. But it's just like I know even like just even in the Batman what was it, the Cape Crusader, like using the sprinkles
Yeah,
like onomatopoeia. Who's been using onomatopoeia? Like, and but it's
I
not
know.
ridiculous. It's not like so, but yeah, but the fact that they found, that space where they can actually produce more of the product, with the mushrooms and everything, are good. But I don't think they're gonna have that space be quiet for anytime soon. Like people are gonna be coming in and like like say, hey, we found you. Now there could probably be a whole battle scene or something there. I just know that place ain't gonna be safe for long. That's all I'm gonna say. So
Yeah,
that's all. Yeah, so yeah, but
yeah.
aside from this was a decent episode. Definitely had meat. Is like I can wait a week and I'm fine. I'm perfectly satisfied. So
I agree. Yeah, I think this is another good episode. I don't think anything is going to top for me, top episode 4, but this was an episode that moved the plot so far forward. I am I can't I'm impressed. Like I continuously I'm impressed every single episode. I am in shock at him setting the Maronis on fire. Like that to me is still visually one of the craziest things I've seen in a while. Like I don't know why. That was just so shocking to me. But yeah, I love this episode. The season's amazing. And yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. And I'm gonna plug some of our social here. You can find us at Multiverse Color, at DC Studio Podcast on Twitter, at the Multiverse of Color on Instagram, at DC Studio Podcast, at Multiverse Color on Facebook. You can check our interviews on at Multiverse of Color on YouTube. Where can we find you at Jedi Mike 7?
yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook at Jedi Mike 7. I have interviews posting up on my channel, and I'll be having those coming up relatively soon. But yeah, you can find me at all socials and on Twitter. Yes, I'm spending that at Jedi Mike 7.
Nice. You can find me at Vanessa Shark on everything, Instagram, Twitter, all the things. I have not joined Blue Sky yet. I won't. I refuse until everyone I don't know. I just don't feel like joining another thing. So until it's like fully everyone switches over, I'm not doing it. So you can still find me floating around on Twitter sometimes. But I do other stuff. Oh, multiverseofcolor.com. I will have stuff written there. You can check that out. Yeah. Um, until next time, Iceberg Loungers, we will talk to you again.